was in Vegas, and him and his dudes now. They found out where Jay was at. Jay wasn't gonna come out the hotel. He was gonna miss that performance, and Suge talked to Pac, and he allowed Jay to do his concert.
Have you ever come across intense rivalries in the world of hip-hop? One of the most notable feuds was between Jay-Z and Tupac, and it was spilled by Spice One, a former collaborator of Tupac who has recently shared his perspective on the debate about Jay-Z being considered the greatest rapper of all time. He also shed light on Jay-Z's apprehensions when it came to his interactions with Tupac.
If Pac was alive, it would have been a whole different story. And as much money as Jay-Z has, he still hasn't accomplished what Tupac accomplished.
There have been speculations regarding Jay-Z's awareness of his friend Diddy's alleged involvement in a plan targeting Tupac. Some suggest that Jay-Z refrained from speaking out, potentially to eliminate his competitors in the hip-hop industry. That's probably why Diddy was quick to shut down any insinuation of that.
We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist.
Now, some fans have raised questions about the seemingly unusual number of individuals associated with Jay and Diddy, who have either disappeared or passed away, while these two remain closely connected. However, the true nature of Jay's relationship with Tupac has often been a subject of intrigue and speculation.
You gotta figure, we never met.
So you and Tupac never met? That was just...
So it's nothing personal. Him and Big went through their thing, and I was Big Man.
Billboard magazine's recent declaration that Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time, surpassing legends like Tupac and Biggie, has sparked significant dissent among hip-hop enthusiasts. Some fellow rappers have joined the controversy, asserting that Billboard's list is biased. They argue that despite Jay-Z's undeniable talent, his music doesn't resonate with audiences in the same way as some of the other iconic figures in the genre. When Ice-T was asked to comment on Billboard's choice, he said, "Yeah, it is. It's an irrelevant list. You know what I mean. It's like, everybody got one, and they call stink." There.
And I want y'all to know, Jay-Z, he think that he better than Tupac. He think he better than everybody who was coming up after him, who outshined him.
It is. The former NWA star expressed his indifference toward lists ranking the greatest rappers, emphasizing that he has his own criteria for evaluating talent. He remained unfazed by Billboard's opinion on the matter, stating that everyone is entitled to their own perspective.
Pac saw the future. He's like, hey, there's gonna be a guy that come along. He's gonna say he's so dope. He's gonna say this and say this, but don't believe nothing.
Jay is not gonna come out the room because Tupac threatened him. So he's not gonna do his show. I guess Suge called Pac. Pac let him go ahead and do his show and everything like that. But Jay was scared to come out of his room. Probably still is scared.
On November 30th, 1994, Tupac Shakur was ambushed and shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Studios in Manhattan. Though he survived, the attack left him deeply suspicious. Soon after, Tupac publicly accused Biggie and others of being involved, despite Biggie's denial. This marked the beginning of one of hip-hop's most infamous rivalries. Amid the growing feud, Jay-Z was navigating his way through the competitive rap scene, looking for opportunities to establish himself as a respected lyricist. Introduced to Biggie by DJ Clark Kent, their bond quickly grew into a creative partnership that led to collaborations, including the iconic track Brooklyn's Finest from Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt. The track is remembered not only for its lyrical brilliance, but also for subtle provocations. In one verse, Biggie quips, "If Faye had twins, she'd probably have 2 packs. Get it? Tupacs?" A wordplay referencing Tupac Shakur and Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. During the height of the East Coast-West Coast feud, Tupac alleged he had a romantic encounter with Faith Evans while she was married to Biggie. Faith, a singer signed to Bad Boy Records, denied the claims, but Tupac doubled down by referencing the alleged affair in his diss track Hit 'Em Up, intensifying the animosity. Tupac, already embroiled in tension with Biggie, took note of Jay-Z's loyalty to his friend. As the East Coast-West Coast feud escalated, Jay-Z's growing association with Biggie made him a target in Tupac's lyrical attacks. Hit 'Em Up is one of the most notorious diss tracks in hip-hop history, primarily aimed at Biggie and Bad Boy Records. However, it also contained a diss directed at Jay-Z, which was ultimately omitted from the final version of the song. The original version of Hit 'Em Up remained on the internet, but with a twist. When Tupac mentions Jay-Z, the recording contains what sounds like a chewed tape.
And if you want to be down with Bad Boy, then Jay-Z, Lil,
Despite the brutal attacks and Hit 'em Up, Biggie chose not to respond
crazy.
directly to Tupac's diss. Biggie believed engaging would only escalate the feud further. Jay-Z urged Biggie to retaliate against Tupac, seeing it as an opportunity to defend their side of the rivalry. Biggie ultimately declined, maintaining his decision to stay above the fray.
Even I was like, yo, let's go. Do something. He was like, nah, I know where this is going. Not gonna feed into that energy. That's not the sort of energy that I want.
Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Diddy, recounted a dramatic incident between Jay-Z and Tupac in Las Vegas during the height of the East Coast-West Coast feud. According to Deal, Jay-Z was scheduled to perform in Las Vegas when he learned that Tupac was actively looking for him. The news left Jay-Z unwilling to leave his hotel room. As the tension escalated, Suge Knight stepped in to defuse the situation. Deal claimed that Knight told Tupac to give Jay-Z a pass, allowing him to perform at his concert. Without this intervention, Jay-Z likely would have remained in his room. This wasn't the end of Tupac's attacks on Jay-Z. In Tupac's Bomb First, My Second Reply, from the iconic album The Don Killuminati, The 7 Day Theory, Pac unleashes a direct and fiery attack on his rivals, including Jay-Z. This track, positioned as a follow-up to the infamous Hit 'em Up, reinforces Tupac's unrelenting stance during the East Coast-West Coast feud. The track opens with an aggressive declaration of intent, setting the tone for the album as one of retaliation and dominance. Through lyrics that emphasize loyalty to his crew and a readiness to retaliate, Tupac paints himself as a warrior unafraid to confront his enemies.
I'm a bad boy killer. Jay-Z got to.
Jay-Z's unreleased track Dead or Alive became a focal point for speculation. Recorded in 1996 for Jay-Z's debut album Reasonable Doubt, the track is often viewed as a subtle diss aimed at Tupac. Many fans believe that Dead or Alive was Jay-Z's direct response to Tupac's Bomb First, a track where Tupac explicitly called out Jay-Z alongside other East Coast rivals. In Dead or Alive, Jay-Z's lyrics reflect confidence and defiance, interpreted by some as addressing Tupac's earlier attacks.
Selling 1 million records, more banks to split on the telly, bumping Machiavelli. I hold no grudge, you diss me, I diss you. What?
After Tupac's death, Jay-Z performed Dead or Alive live at venues like the Apollo Theater. These performances fueled speculation about the song's intent and its connection to Tupac's Bomb First. Despite the buzz, Jay-Z ultimately chose not to release the track officially. According to many sources, this decision was made out of respect for Tupac's legacy. By withholding Dead or Alive, Jay-Z avoided prolonging the feud, which had already claimed the lives of Tupac and Biggie. His decision reflected a strategic move to preserve his career and focus on building his legacy beyond the tensions of the time. Whether Dead or Alive was truly a response to Bomb First remains a subject of debate among fans, but its significance lies in its representation of Jay-Z's approach to one of hip-hop's most tumultuous eras. DJ Clark Kent revealed the existence of a mysterious diss track that Jay-Z recorded and performed live once, aimed at Tupac. Clark Kent described the track as a powerful response to Tupac's relentless attacks. Performed at a live show, the diss reportedly showcased Jay-Z's lyrical prowess and ability to hold his own in one of hip-hop's most intense rivalries. Despite its impact during the live performance, Jay-Z ultimately chose not to record or officially release the track.
Well, you mentioned in a previous interview that Jay-Z had a Tupac diss record that never got released.
But he performed it live at the Apollo one day we were doing the show. It was tough. It was tough, like super tough.
Clark Kent noted that Jay-Z's decision to keep the track unreleased was influenced by Tupac's untimely death in September 1996. Out of respect for Tupac, the diss remained a one-time event, adding an air of mystery to Jay-Z's role in the feud. While Jay-Z ultimately chose not to release his diss track aimed at Tupac, Tupac had already recorded several diss tracks targeting Jay-Z in 1996. These included F**k Friends and All Out, both of which remained unreleased during Tupac's lifetime, but were later featured on his 2001 posthumous album, Until the End of Time. For the album's release, the verses of Tupac's group, The Outlaws, were re-recorded, but Tupac's original verses were left intact. These tracks contained sharp references to Jay-Z, though not all of the lines targeting him made it into the final release. Fans have noted that some of the most pointed mentions of Jay-Z can only be heard in the original versions of the tracks, which have since surfaced on the internet. In 2001, the hip-hop world witnessed the release of two iconic albums, Tupac posthumous Until the End of Time and Jay-Z's critically acclaimed The Blueprint. Despite Tupac's untimely death 5 years earlier, the album's sales told a story of his enduring legacy. Until the End of Time, a double album featuring unreleased material and reworked tracks, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. It sold over 426,000 copies in its first week alone and eventually achieved quadruple platinum status, with more than 4 million units sold in the US. Jay-Z's The Blueprint, released on September 11, 2001, is often regarded as one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Despite its critical acclaim, the album sold approximately 426,000 copies in its first week, matching Tupac's debut week numbers. However, it went on to achieve double platinum status in the US, selling over 2 million copies. The sales figures highlight Tupac's enduring popularity, even in death. While The Blueprint cemented Jay-Z's position as one of rap's most influential figures, Tupac's Until the End of Time demonstrated the unparalleled connection he maintained with his fans, showcasing the depth of his artistry and the timelessness of his messages. Even years after his passing, Tupac's ability to outsell living artists like Jay-Z underscores the profound impact he had on the hip-hop community and popular culture as a whole. While The Blueprint solidified Jay-Z's dominance in the new millennium, Until the End of Time proved that Tupac's voice would continue to resonate, securing his place as a legend whose influence extends far beyond his lifetime. In 2003, there were rumors floating around the hip-hop scene that Rockefeller Records, run by Jay-Z and Damon Dash, were trying to buy some unreleased tracks from the legendary Machiavelli sessions of Tupac. These tracks were recorded during a really intense period just before Tupac's death in 1996, and they had a special place in his music because of their raw energy and intense lyrics. Speculation suggested that Rockefeller was negotiating with Interscope Records to secure select material from these sessions. This move was reportedly part of a broader strategy to capitalize on Tupac's enduring legacy and his continued influence on hip-hop.
We're working on a new project called One Nation. It's gonna be an East Coast, West Coast collaboration. Okay. Not Jay-Z, not Mob.
Pino, none of
them.
However, it is important to note that this information has never been officially verified. In a recent interview, Dame Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller Records, revealed a little-known incident involving Jay-Z and Tupac Shakur. According to Dash, shortly before the tragic events in Las Vegas that claimed Tupac's life, Jay-Z allegedly tried to confront him at the MTV Music Awards. Dash claimed that during the awards show, Jay-Z sought an opportunity to address the brewing tensions between him and Tupac.
It was the one where he had the walkie-talkie. You know, he was coming into New York, and we were probably going to be in the same place. So it was like, obviously, we knew we were going to run into him. So we were like, yo, we might as well get to him before he get to us. So we were just trying to see, like, yo, what was it?
He tried to address Jay-Z at the MTV Awards. That's crazy, y'all. Man, look, I ain't know that. I'm being honest with y'all. Hey, look, I ain't know that. I'm so glad that, you know, they figuring out what really went down and what, you know, what Jay-Z really did. Jay-Z threw rocks and hid his hands this whole time. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so they can see exactly